The alarm went off at exactly 2:13 ship time. It wasn't the usual system alert, the kind you could ignore or delay. This one cut through the entire ship like a blade. High priority. Royal security breach. Beginning. The disappearance. Armin Hale jolted awake, instinct taking over before his thoughts could catch up. Within seconds, he was out of his bunk, boots half-laced, already moving toward the corridor. The intercom crackled. Code Virex read. All personnel report to assigned stations. Repeat. Code Virex read. That wasn't just serious. That was catastrophic. Armin stepped into the corridor and immediately noticed the tension. Virexian guards, tall, armored, silent, were already moving with lethal precision. Their glowing visors scanned everything, everyone. Something was very wrong. What happened? Armin asked one of the human crew members rushing past him. The man didn't stop. The princesses, he said quickly. They're gone. Armin froze. Gone? The royal crisis. The Virexian royal family wasn't just symbolic. They were the backbone of a fragile alliance between multiple star systems. And the princesses? They weren't just heirs. They were the future. 3 of them. All missing. Within minutes, the entire ship was locked down. Doors sealed. Movement restricted. Every crew member was accounted for. Or at least almost. Armin stood in the command chamber, surrounded by alien officers who clearly didn't trust him, or any human, for that matter. At the center stood Queen Lyrie. Her presence filled the room like gravity itself. Cold. Controlled. Terrifying. Explain, she said. No one spoke. Explain, she repeated, her voice sharper this time. A guard stepped forward. There are no signs of forced entry. No breach in security systems. No external interference. The Queen's eyes narrowed. Then they did not leave the ship. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Which meant only one thing. They are still here, Armin said quietly. Every head turned toward him. Suspicion falls. Humans were already under scrutiny. Being the newest addition to the alliance didn't help. And now? 3 royal daughters missing? Perfect timing. You, one of the Virexian commanders said, stepping toward Armin. Where were you during the last cycle? Asleep, Armin replied calmly. Alone? Yes. The commander studied him. You expect us to believe that? Armin crossed his arms. I expect you to check your logs and confirm it. The tension thickened. Queen Lyrie raised her hand. Enough. The room fell silent instantly. We will search every section of this ship, she said. No space will remain unchecked. Her gaze shifted, just briefly, to Armin. And no one is above suspicion. The search. Hours passed. Every corridor. Every storage unit. Every maintenance shaft. Nothing. The princesses had vanished without a trace. Armin sat on the edge of his bunk, running through possibilities. Kidnapping? No signs. Escape? Impossible. Hidden? Maybe. He sighed. This doesn't make sense. Then, something did. The discovery. It started with a sound. Soft. Barely noticeable. A quiet laugh. Armin frowned. That wasn't normal. He stood up slowly, scanning his small quarters. Everything looked the same. Clean. Organized. Untouched. Then he heard it again. From behind him, he turned and froze. Because there, curled up on his bed, were the 3 missing alien princesses. Middle. The truth no one expected. For a moment, Armin didn't move. Didn't breathe. Didn't think. Because nothing about this made sense. The youngest one shifted slightly, her glowing eyes opening halfway. She looked at him, then smiled, and went back to sleep. You've got to be kidding me, Armin whispered. Chaos ensues. Within minutes, his room was surrounded.
Guards.
Commanders. Weapons drawn. Step away, one of them ordered. Armin raised his hand slowly. I didn't. Silence. Queen Lyrie entered last. Her gaze immediately locked onto the scene. Her daughters. Safe. Asleep. In a human's room. The silence that followed was heavier than anything before. Explain, she said. Again. Armin exhaled. I just found them like this. The guards didn't believe him. He could see it. But the queen didn't react. Not immediately. Instead, she stepped forward. Slowly. Carefully. And then, something changed. A different reaction. The princesses didn't wake in fear. Didn't panic. Didn't react like kidnapped victims. They stayed calm. Peaceful. Safe. One of them stirred again, noticing the queen. Mother, she murmured softly. Why are you here? The queen asked gently. The child blinked sleepily. We were tired. The room went silent. And, the queen pressed. The second princess spoke. He let us stay. Armin blinked. I didn't even know you were here. The third princess smiled. We know. The explanation. It took time. Questions. Careful translation of their responses. But eventually, the truth came out. They hadn't been taken. They had left. On their own. Because they were curious. About humans. About him. You spoke to them? The queen asked. Armin shook his head. Not really. I mean, we crossed paths once or twice. The youngest princess nodded. You were kind. He frowned. I didn't do anything. You didn't ignore us, she said. That hit harder than expected. A different kind of trust. Among the Virections, interaction was formal, structured, distant, even within families. But humans? Humans were different. And somehow, that difference had drawn them in. They felt safe here, the queen said quietly. The words carried weight, because safety was not something given lightly. Conflict rises. Not everyone accepted the explanation. This is manipulation, one commander argued. He influenced them. Armin sighed. I didn't even know they were in my room. They chose to be there, the queen said. The commander hesitated. That is highly irregular. Perhaps, she replied, but not impossible. Her gaze shifted to Armin. You will explain your behavior. He blinked. My behavior? Yes, she said. Why did they trust you? Armin paused, then shrugged. I didn't treat them like royalty, he said. I treated them like kids. The room went silent again. The shift. Something changed in that moment. Not just in how the queen saw him, but in how everyone did. Because strength wasn't what had drawn the princesses. Not power, not status, but something far simpler. Kindness. Ending. A new understanding. The lockdown was lifted. The crisis resolved. Officially, it was recorded as a misunderstanding. Unofficially, it changed everything. Armin returned to his duties. But things weren't the same. The guards no longer looked at him with suspicion. Not entirely. And the queen? She watched him differently. One evening, she approached him. You did not seek their attention, she said. No, Armin replied. And yet, you earned it. He smiled faintly. I guess that's how it works sometimes. She studied him. My daughters trust you, she said. That is not a small thing. I know, he said quietly. A pause. Then, do not betray that trust. Armin met her gaze. I won't. Final moment. Later that night, as he returned to his quarters, he stopped at the door. Because he heard it again. Soft laughter. He opened the door slowly. And there they were. The three princesses. Waiting. Can we stay again? One of them asked. Armin sighed. Then smiled. All right, he said. Because sometimes, The strangest situations turn into something meaningful. And sometimes, being trusted means more than anything else.